Very first question from my dear love, mischief maker, Holly. Holly asked a question, and that is, what did you do before Flex Rocks and Rollovers? I think that is one of the most asked questions and something that I haven't really shared a whole lot. Like, people don't really know my history. Some people do, some people don't. So I figured, hey, this is a good opportunity to kind of clear things up and explain to you guys what I did before this and how I even got here. So most of you guys know I'm German. I grew up, born and raised in Germany. I left Germany right after college. I studied communications management in Cologne, Germany, in my hometown, which is basically, yeah, a general marketing program at a marketing school. So I have a bachelor degree in marketing, basically. And right after my graduation, I graduated pretty early with, yeah, around 21, I graduated. And right after college, let me back up. During college, I worked for a record label. Basically, in order to get accepted into the college that I studied at, you had to be working full time in a marketing position. So I reached out back then to my favorite record label. I wanted to, you know, get a sneak peek, or wanted to work in the music industry of some sort. I was really interested in that. So I just basically one night reached out to my favorite record label in Germany and just asked for an internship straight up. And that so happened to work out. And I got to do that throughout my entire college time. I worked at a record label called Self Made Records in Düsseldorf, Germany. And that's actually where Yanni and I met. Yanni, for those that don't know, Yanni is my partner in Flexworks and Rollovers. He's the guy that's in charge of most of our editing and, yeah, basically my right hand man for everything media related. And that's where we met. Yanni back then was our videographer on tour, basically. When I went on tour with our artists, he was the guy filming all day and night. And then while we were out partying, he was sitting in our tour bus editing the video and putting them out same day. Basically, that was 2009, 2010. So YouTube was in its very, very early days, and he was already doing YouTube vlogs and all that kind of stuff back then. And he was also the backup rapper on stage for another artist. So he would go on stage, support the artist on stage, at the same time film before, after, and during, and then cut it all into a video and upload it same night. That was Yanni's gig, and that's how we met. And yeah, now he's doing Flex Rocks and Rollovers with me. Pretty cool. And yeah, so that was my college days. After college, I was 21. I had a job offer in New York City, also at a record label. And my uncle back then had an apartment in New York City and offered me a place to stay. Otherwise, this would have never happened. I mean, a college student could never afford a place in New York City, downtown Manhattan. So I got lucky on that one and took the opportunity and moved to New York City for about a little over a year and a half. And yeah, worked there at a reggae label, actually, reggae music. Not really my forte, but just for the opportunity of being in New York City and, experiencing something like that, I took the opportunity and moved out there. And then, yeah, the record label, if any of you guys are into reggae music, is called Easy Star Records. If you want to look them up, Easy Star All Stars or Easy Star Records. It's a pretty well-known US-based reggae label. And I did that for about a year and a half. And while I was in New York City doing that, I kind of realized that, if you're not really into the music that you're promoting and you're working on, then it just becomes kind of a 9 to 5 office job. And so I had kind of second guessed if this was the right career choice at that point. And I was always into off-roading. My dad started taking me on trails when I was like 4 years old. So off-roading was always a part of my life, even back in Germany. So Facebook and whatnot just became a thing, and people started doing pages and whatnot. So I was like, you know what, I want to do that. I have enough content, like photos and just past memories from our off-road trips that I wanted to share with the world. So I created Flex Rocks and Rollovers way back then. That's over 10 years ago now. I started Flex Rocks and Rollovers out of my apartment in New York City. Started a Facebook page. The Instagram, I don't think, was even around back then. It was just a Facebook page and a Tumblr blog. I had a Tumblr blog as well. So that's what it started back in New York City during my internship, or during my job and internship there at Easy Star Records. I started Flex Rocks and Rollovers as a Facebook page. And that grew pretty quickly. I had like 20,000 followers by the time I left New York City again after this whole program was over. and thought, hey, I got to do something with this. This is crazy. For me back then, 20,000 followers was huge. Back then it was relatively easy to gain Facebook followers compared to nowadays, but still, I wanted to make something out of it. So me and my dad got together and we talked, and my dad had an ad agency for over 20 years, very successful ad agency with big clients in Europe as well as in the United States. But he was burned out. He was absolutely tired of it. He couldn't deal with it anymore. He was completely over dealing with clients and having his life dictated by other people, and was really, really burned out by it. And with my social media following and his marketing knowledge and whatnot, we thought, hey, let's make something out of it. So we put our brains together and kind of try to figure out like what would be a good product, like how could we dive into the off-road industry, what would be something that is needed in the market from our perspective. And back then, I mean, off-roading back then wasn't what it was today, in our, at least our universe of off-road wasn't was it what it was today, but we still, for back in the day, still went on gnarly trails. Whenever I came over to the US to visit him, we went to Tellico back then. So Tellico is where I started wheeling. That was the very first place I went, and absolutely loved it. And that really, really, really made my love for off-road what it is today. Like back then, Tellico for me was an absolute paradise. It was everything that I envisioned about off-roading. I found in that place. It was the absolute coolest place on earth for me, and like the adventure spirit that that place provided, the difficulty of the trails, the people you met along the way, the camping, all of that. Like it was just amazing. And yeah, we've been in a few rollovers. We witnessed a few rollovers. So we thought it was a good idea to introduce helmets to the off-road market. And that is how Axle Off-Road was started. So Axle Off-Road was started and founded by my dad and I. And yeah, from back way back in the day. And that was my first venture in the off-road industry. So my dad and I did Axle Off-Road together full time from that moment on for about 3 years. And after like once we hit that 3 year mark, we traveled the country so much. We supported Southern Rock Racing and other rock racing events with helmets, kind of introduced safety gear to those guys. And we went to all kinds of events and shows, and we realized back then there really wasn't anything major on the East Coast. There was no major hub for the off-road community on the East Coast. So my dad kind of decided that it would be an awesome gig, an awesome project to bring a off-road show, an expo, a trade show, some hub for the community out on the East Coast. So I basically slowly took over Axel Off-Road more and more by myself, as he focused more on getting this new project started, which was an off-road show on the East Coast. And at some point, obviously I got involved. Like Axel Offroad was still there, but like just this new project, was we had so much passion and so much enthusiasm for the idea of bringing a trade show, off-road trade show out to the East Coast, that I dived right into that as well with him. And that is how my second career path got started. And that was, we called it the Unlimited Off-Road Show and Expo. That was basically my last gig before Flexworks and Rollovers. I did that for 6 years. 6 years, me, my dad, and one other person had were had these off-road trade shows. It all started in Louisville, Kentucky at the Kentucky Expo Center. That is where, by the way, Justin Culture, one of the guys here in the chat, that's how we know each other. He was out there supporting us back in the day when we did the Unlimited Off-Road Show in Louisville. And that thing grew and grew and grew. And at some point we started to spread out all over the country. So a couple of years in, we had a show in Louisville, Kentucky, in Dallas, Texas, or Fort Worth, Texas, at the Texas Motor Speedway. We took up the entire infield of the Texas Motor Speedway. We went to Nashville, Tennessee. We even had a show up in Wisconsin during the Crandon race, the big off-road world championships. And we had one in Atlanta, Georgia, here in our hometown, and a bunch of other places. So that was a big successful show for us. But yeah, after 6 years, I was kind of burned out by it. It was a lot of relying on, like, you put in work, 6 to 8 months of really, I don't know, 15, 16-hour days. It was crazy. I never worked that much in my entire life as I did in that time period. And then right before a show, would happen, we would get rained out or something else would happen. So your entire work, your money, your work, everything just, went up in the air because your event got rained out. And that happened to us over and over and over again, I think 4 times in a row at the end. And that is when I called it quits and I couldn't do it anymore. And that's basically, in a nutshell. Obviously, there's much more to it, but in a nutshell, that's kind of how that went down. And yeah, basically I split ways, and yeah, for me it was time to start my own deal and be on my own. So I left the Unlimited Off-Road show, but I mean, I don't want to say luckily, but it was right around the time where COVID hit. Like it was about 6, 7 months before this whole COVID thing started, is when I decided to leave Unlimited Off-Road show. So it all, like, after that, I think they did one more little small show in Texas, and then they had to close the doors anyways because of COVID. So that whole thing went down because COVID went down. And yeah, luckily I made a jump right before that and already had new plans in the works while this whole COVID thing started. And yeah, that's how Flexworks and Rollovers basically became what it was today. I still had that Facebook page, I had an Instagram page at that point with Flexworks and Rollovers. I had some followers on there, and I figured, hey, I like the name, I like the idea. I think this is what I want to do. I think I want to make Flexworks and Rollovers a thing. I want to make it a YouTube channel. I want to make it a media outlet of any kind, and make a name for myself under the flag of Flexworks and Rollovers. And that is basically how Flexworks and Rollovers became what it was today. For those that are asking me, how did you get sponsors that quickly? Like, how did all this happen so quickly for you? So basically, I've been in the industry for almost 10 years at this point, and I had contacts from my previous careers, and obviously had also a track record of, I was the marketing director for Unlimited Off-Road Show, so I had a pretty good track record at that. And people knew me, and I had good relationships with brands, so they trusted in me, luckily. And a couple of people that I've been working closely in the previous careers trusted me enough to yeah, help me out and work with us early on. And that's basically also what made Flexworks and Rollovers what it was today. So I would say, without my previous career choices and my previous steps in life, I would probably wouldn't have made it as quickly as I mean, or didn't wouldn't have made it where I am today in that short amount of time. But also, for the couple of people are asking, like, what happened with Axel Offroad then? So Axel Offroad basically existed throughout that entire time, but it was basically we gave up management to a befriended company that had great success selling helmets, and they were basically a retailer of ours, and they kept the company alive and fulfilled orders through that entire time, where we put all our work and effort into Unlimited Off-Road Show. So the brand was kept alive during that time. And then when Unlimited Off-Road Show went back down, um, then my dad also, when COVID hit and whatnot, that's what he went back to. It's like, all of a sudden, Unlimited Off-Road Show wasn't anymore, and we got to survive off something, and we still had that brand sitting there that was making sales every month, but not as much as it used to when we put our work, all of our effort into it. But still, it was still alive, it was still kicking. So he went back to that and is pretty successful with that now. Luckily, I'm super happy for him. The brand is doing better than ever. You guys have seen all the helmets all over our channel and 24 Hellenbacks and whatnot. So that's what he's doing now. And I'm doing full-time Flexworks and Rollovers at this point, which I'm super lucky and super blessed that I'm able to do that. So yeah, Holly and Andrew just said, yeah, that's where we met. Unlimited Off-Road Show is where I met Holly. Unlimited Off-Road Show is where I met Andrew Bailey. Unlimited Off-Road Show is where I met Justin Culture. I mean, Walter Fowler. All these people are, a lot of the relationships that I have today are from way back in the days when we did Unlimited Off-Road Show. So much to that. It's pretty crazy how things go. But like, yeah, all this didn't come overnight, or none of this. And without Unlimited Off-Road Show, I wouldn't be where I am today as much as that time. I mean, I learned a lot in that time, and it was crazy. It was crazy how much I learned and how it really made me to who I am now. But man, that was the most stressful, most exhausting, most depressed time of my life doing that. It was basically, like, some people would say, you're living the dream, traveling across the country, putting on off-road events, but behind the scenes, I'm telling you guys, I mean, spending 6 to 8 months on working, almost around the clock for a show, and then getting rained out last minute, or having something else happen to the show why it wasn't successful at the end, and then going out with less money than you went into, that really, really tears on you over time. So I'm super glad that I got to make that experience. And it was also not always like that. Obviously, we wouldn't have done it for 6 years if it, would have been like that the whole time. It was just towards the end it kind of became a thing that the more work we put into it, the more likely were the chances to get rained out or something catastrophically happened. So yeah, super thankful for everything that has happened to me along the way. And without any of those things, without working at a record label in Germany, moving to New York City, doing Axel Offroad, and then doing unlimited off-road shows, each one of those steps helped me to get where I am today, and to learn the life lessons and the professional lessons that I needed to do what I do today. So that's definitely yeah, something I don't want to miss, and I'm glad I did it. I'm very, very glad I did it. So yeah, so much to my story in a nutshell. I mean, I can sit here for hours and tell you about all the details and people I met along the way, and the stories that have happened across that time frame. But I'd say this is as much info as I'm going to give you guys today. If you have more questions, if you want to know more about all this, feel free to ask me anything. I'll answer any question as honestly as I can. Put it here in the live chat, put it in the comments in the video, or on Facebook. Let me look through what you guys have been writing here in the chat. Justin, I remember the first UOR in Louisville really strengthened my passion for off-road. Glad to hear that. Like, yeah, we put blood, sweat, and tears into these shows, and the enthusiasm we had for the sport. We wanted this show to reflect that, and wanted to like, it was our goal to excite people about off-road. We always said with our shows, celebrate off-road. That's what we were standing for. For all of you guys that have never even heard of unlimited off-road shows and have no idea what I'm here talking about here, go on YouTube after the live stream is over and type in unlimited off-road show or UOR show on YouTube. There are a bunch of videos and after movies and trailers and hype videos. There's a bunch of cool content on YouTube that you can watch to kind of get an idea of how big those shows were and how crazy they were and how much happened there. It wasn't way more than just a trade show, let me tell you that. So all right, Jacob Brown, such a huge fan of learning a lot from y'all's videos. Awesome. That's great. We definitely want to make another step into that direction and be a little bit more educational in the future. So I am, obviously, you guys know, I'm not a fabricator by any means. Like, I was part of building Jeepster Make Jeep Face every step of the way. I was there for every bolt that was turned, for every panel that was built. I was there. I basically lived in a cornfield in Oklahoma for month and month in a row, and worked with Green Country Off-Road, the shop that originally built Jeepster Make Jeep Face, and yeah, was there for every step of the way, and basically learned and also helped out where I could. Obviously, again, I'm not a fabricator, so a lot of the fabrication work on this wasn't me, but I was basically cutting out cardboard templates. Let me start from the beginning. I designed everything. The whole Jeepster started on a piece of paper. So the whole thing, the vision of the Jeepster was done by me. And then when we actually started on the project with Green Country Off-Road, I was there basically like cutting out cardboard templates for body panels. And then Nick, one of the main fabricators at the shop, transferred that over in metal and cut it out and welded it together and did all those things. So it was a, hands-on experience for me every step of the way. My big thing was, once that Jeep is done and I'm out there wheeling it, abusing it on the trails, I want to know every nut and bolt on that Jeep. So in case anything happens, I don't want to be like, oh, I have no idea what happened here. I just, somebody built me this Jeep and I don't know how to work on it. I never wanted to be that guy. I'm not that kind of person. So that was basically the main reason why I did all that. And obviously that was before YouTube. That was during the Unlimited Off-Road Show days. So there's really no good video documentation on it. But we do have a few clips here and there from the build process and pictures and whatnot. So at some point, I will do a full walk around and really in-depth video about Jeepster Make Jeep Face, and then we'll show some of that stuff. So it'll happen at some point soon, probably. Um, So yeah, and but also in 2019 I got invited to SEMA with this Jeep, and it was pretty beat at that point, so I wanted a full rebuild for SEMA. So we did a frame off restoration on Jeepster Make Jeep Face, literally completely tore it apart and completely overhauled it and improved a few things, and that is actually on our YouTube channel. So you can go back into our video library, and there's a video series, I think it's 2 videos, getting it ready for SEMA. And there you see it completely getting torn apart, modified, powder coated, repainted, and put it back together. So that is on our channel, and you can watch that. And then you can kind of see under what circumstances this Jeep was built too. Like, it's not some fancy high-end shop or whatever. A bunch of you people always complain about the fact that all we show is these high dollar builds from people, built by people that nobody can afford and blah blah blah. This is the exact opposite of that. Okay, like, this Jeep was built in the cornfields in Oklahoma in a very small shop that had, a broken roof, water dripping into it and whatnot. I mean, in the worst circumstances that you can possibly imagine. Most of your guys' home garages are equipped and in a lot better condition than the place where we built this Jeep. And you see that also in the video of the rebuild and the guys that were actually part of this. Just couple of good old boys from Oklahoma, Rocky and Nick and Chad McDonald, the owner of Green Country Offroad. That's it. And Chad was, most of the time was, overlooking the entire process, but not too much involved. But then Nick was the fabricator, the guy that just welded it all together, and then Rocky was the mechanic. So between us, we pulled this whole thing off and did it again in 2019, basically. So now, talking about builds, and yeah, Jeepster Make Jeep Face being, getting more and more abused over the years. And basically, when I first built Jeepster Make Jeep Face, the Jeep was somewhere here, and my skill level was here. So it was way above my head. When I first built it, I had, this was the craziest Jeep I ever sat in by the moment I put my feet inside it. And at some point, now it's like 4.5 years later, this kind of evens out. And now I want to do things that the Jeep isn't great at anymore. You see it in a bunch of our videos. As soon as I hit something really steep, the Jeep doesn't like it. It's too heavy, it's too tall, the rear suspension geometry isn't perfect. There are a few flaws in it that just prevent me to do what I would like to do. The obstacles that I'm looking at, and I'm like, yeah, I want to hit that. I want to do that. And then the Jeep just doesn't really want to do it. So the few bugs that are still, the few issues I have with suspension geometry and whatnot, we will sort that out at some point. But I also think it is time for our channel and for you guys to witness a project from start to finish. And I really want to make that happen. It's been a dream of mine since we started this channel, that I want to build something that is, basically the 2.0 version of what's standing behind me. And I think it is time that we get going on that. So what I want to know from you guys now, and please answer that in the chat or wherever you want to, um, how opposed are you guys for us to build a buggy? And by buggy, I don't mean a full-on buggy, but I think in order to build the next step of what's behind me, we need to build something that is, a lot more capable. And I think we've really maxed out what you can do on a regular G platform. So I'm thinking about building a chassis, or getting a chassis built and merging a Jeep around it, basically. So I still want it to be a street legal. I want in Georgia, which is not too hard. So I want a tube chassis. I want it to be street legal. I want pretty ridiculous power in it and a really, really, really solid drivetrain. So basically, the ultimate beatdown machine is the working title for it right now, and it will still maintain a Jeep look. It'll look more like a Jeep than a buggy, but basically what's underneath it is more buggy than Jeep, in order to make it perform a lot better than this. Because originally, you guys have maybe seen this Bronco rendering that we've posted a few times, and that was my first initial thought about, or what initiated the idea of building something new, was that rendering. But if I think about it now, building a Bronco on 42s like, yeah, it might be cool, but honestly, what is that vehicle gonna do that this Jeep can't do? Then I have two of the same things, two bulky, heavy, full-bodied rigs that do exactly the same thing, just look different. I don't really see the point of that. And whenever we now start the process of building something new, I want it to be a whole step up from Jeepster McJeepface. Again, Jeepster McJeepface will not go anywhere. I will never sell this Jeep. I will never do anything to it other than maintain it and yeah, maybe work out a few flaws like the rear suspension geometry and something like that. Like it will still be a thing and it will still be on the channel and we will still create content with it and go on events with it. But I think starting something new and opening a new chapter for us is yeah, it's about time to do that. So let me know what you guys think about that. And yeah, what do you think about having something that is not on a regular frame anymore, but on a tube chassis? I think that will be the only thing that will make it a buggy because it's not sitting on a regular frame anymore, but on a tube chassis. But from outside, I would say for the most part, it'll still look like a Jeep. If you guys want, I can give you a sneak peek of what I'm thinking about, or what kind of body I'm thinking about right now. And wait. I think you guys will like it because obviously I don't want to build another Jeepster McJeepface, but I want something that reminds of Jeepster McJeepface, and it's just kind of the evolution. And even though I'm talking about an evolution, and an evolution usually goes forward, I think when it comes to the age of the vehicle, it'll be cool to not go forward, but to go backwards. And if you guys might know that this Jeepster Commando body style wasn't the first Jeepster there ever was. So right now, currently, I am thinking about using this as a base, as a body for Jeepster McJeepface 2.0. The old nine, that's a 1949 Jeepster. And as you can see, the body lines and whatnot are similar but different to the Jeepster that's behind me. But I think it is very buggy friendly. It's very friendly to turn into a buggy from. There's not too much body panel. It's a pretty small body in the first place. And what I really like about it is how the front end narrows. So you can see as it goes towards the grill, it narrows, which my Jeepster doesn't do that. It's completely flat. So my whole from a visibility aspect is terrible. The visibility out of this Jeep is horrible because the whole front just is flat, and then you have the fender flares coming out and whatnot. So that's sometimes people give me shit about not wearing a seatbelt, or not. Like I always wear my lap belt, but sometimes I don't wear my shoulder belts because I can't see anything, not a tire, not anything. So I need to be somewhat outside of my vehicle. Obviously I don't do it when it's really sketchy, but every once in a while it's more sketchy for me to be strapped in and not see anything rather than have the option to like kind of peek outside the window to see what I'm doing. Not great, and I want to change that on the next rig. And as you can see, the front end here narrows, and I really like that. And it doesn't have the blinkers next to the headlights. So this Jeepster, obviously, what makes the front end a Jeepster, or the main characteristic, are the blinkers next to the headlights. Well, if you cut the fenders into the hood, and if you want up travel and you really cut into it, you will lose the blinkers on this thing. So your up travel, or as much the amount of cutting you can do towards the top, is really limited by those blinkers if you don't want to lose them, because if you lose them, it's not a Jeepster front end anymore. You might as well do a CJ7 at that point. So on this one, I don't have that problem. I can go as far as I want and I will not lose the look of the Jeep. So that is the first idea. I'm in talks with a really, really awesome chassis builder that is local to me. That's as much info I'm going to give as I give you right now. And I have some other options as well. But like, yeah, we're currently talking to a couple of people. And but just so you know, I will approach the next project the same way as I approach this project. I want to be there from A to Z, and I want to learn. And I think it will be really cool for the video series to have a professional next to me, basically somebody that really knows what he's talking about, but he's teaching me and I'm teaching you while he's teaching me. So that is, I think, the idea of this whole thing. Like, I will be more hands-on, or even more hands-on on the new build as I was on this one, by basically, somebody teaching me. And I think that will make a really interesting dynamic for the video, because I am learning and teaching you as I'm learning. So that's kind of the idea of this. And I want to take you guys with us across the entire path. So like from sketching out the idea, which we're kind of doing now already. This is kind of the first start, to building the chassis, to gathering the components. And I want you guys' input on it as well. Like, what should we do to it? How should we outfit it? Like, what kind of drivetrain, what kind of motor, what all those ins and outs, I want to involve you guys in it as well. So there's so much to that. Cat is out of the back. Looks like we're building a new rig or starting to gather parts. Like, I don't have the financial ability to just go ahead and buy all parts at once and then start the build and have it done in a few months. It won't be like that, unfortunately. So I will most likely start collecting parts now. And once we have enough parts to make it a roller, the video series will start. So that will be basically, I'm thinking about the project in 3 steps. Step 1 is gather enough parts. Step 2 is make it into a roller, and then the third step, or the third stage, will be putting it all together and making it a full working vehicle. But yeah, I'm thinking about low, wide, stupid horsepower and crazy strong drivetrain. Again, working title is the ultimate beatdown machine, and that's what we want to do with this. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I hope that excites you as much as it excites me. I'm super, super pumped about it. And again, Jeepster Make Jeep Face is not going anywhere. This thing will stay forever. This is what started it all, and this is what will end it all. Like, Jeepster Make Jeep Face not going anywhere, and will still be part of this whole deal. So back to your comments here. Somebody's asking, with the experience and connections into the industry, have you all ever thought about doing an online off-road university? It's kind of a cool thought. I don't know how much, I mean, in what way, is it like a university for somebody that wants to get into the off-road community to understand the ins and outs, or more for the enthusiast to learn more about off-road, I guess? I don't know. I like the idea of an off-road university. I don't know how that would exactly look like, but that's pretty cool. Look at Motorbill's YJ frame they just made. Basically a buggy that looks like a Jeep. Yes, that thing is freaking cool. If you haven't, go check out the new Motorbill YJ. That thing is super, super sick. I'm a big fan. Those guys do great work. Okay, very interesting. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I wheel a full size. I'm used to not seeing much but the hood. Yeah, same. So this is, I mean, that's kind of the same visibility as you have with this. All right, let's go back on YouTube to your question you previously submitted. Bobby Whips, first off, love the channel and all the work you put into it. Second, what's your favorite place to ride and why? Oh, wow, that question was asked a bunch. So what's my favorite wheeling spot, my favorite wheeling location? I don't think I have a single favorite. But you guys have seen a video we posted not too long ago, but 4 months ago, we posted a video called My Favorite Trail. And I think if I had to break it down to one trail, that might be it. And that is the Sand Mines Trail in Caryville, Tennessee. I think that trail, again, if you want to see what I'm talking about, go back in our video library to a video that's called My Favorite Trail. It has almost 500,000 views at this point. I think that is one of them, because simply it is scenic. It has everything that a trail needs to have. It has water crossings. It has muddy hill climbs. It has rocks. Once you get to the top, it is white powder sand and limestone and turquoise water, because it's an old sand quarry. And a rock garden from hell. Absolutely crazy. Like a really, really long, really gnarly rock garden, a bunch of really steep climbs. And it's just a great trail ride for a day. If you're looking for, you start in the morning, you end in the afternoon or in the evening, it is the most perfect trail out there, in my opinion. So, and if you want to wheel that place, that's something I forgot to mention in the video of the trail, actually. It is not a place where you can just show up and ride, you need to go to the TWRA website, Tennessee Wildlife and Resource Association. You go on their website and you buy a high impact permit per vehicle. I think it's $30, and you buy it online, you print it out, you put it on your dash, and then you're good to go. That's all you need. And if you want to find a good map throughout the through this place, download the B of Goodrich On Trail app and look for sand mines or sand quarry. It's in Caryville, Tennessee. We map the whole place out. So if you download the app, you can use it, and you can use it to map your way through it. Super cool. We usually stay at the Hampton Inn in Caryville. It's a locally owned hotel, and they have plenty of parking. It's about 5 minutes away from the trailhead. So yeah, favorite trail, I would say that. Favorite park, I'm somewhere in between Rugged Mountain Ranch, where we did the 2020 Hallenbach, and Windrock Park. Those are my two favorite parks, I would say. And then favorite wheeling locations, other than us, that is not a park and that is, I guess too far away from me. I think I would say Arizona, where we did the very last Hallenbach with Bronson and Jess from Wreck Gear. That's a gnarly place. So those are, just to throw it out there, I would say favorite single trail to wheel is the Sand Mines. It's just one trail that takes you kind of all day with a bunch of optional lines. Favorite park, Windrock Park, Rugged Mountain Ranch, somewhere in between there. Favorite wheeling area is Arizona. Top secret Arizona, somewhere between, as Jess and Bronson from Wreck Gear say, right on the border of Mexico and Canada, like literally right on it. So, so much to that. Let's continue on. I'm gonna love travel to new parks. Would love to see you in the Pacific Northwest. Yes, me too. Pacific Northwest is big on my agenda. I want to go wheel with my buddy Nate from Dirt Lifestyle out there and have him show me around there. So it's definitely happening. It's just literally the furthest drive I could possibly do. It is completely on the other side of the country, so it will happen. I just don't know exactly when. I hope maybe even this year. I don't know. I would love to go out there in the snow wheeling season and go do some serious snow wheeling out there. That'd be awesome. Somebody asking, how did you get started with YouTube and the creation of Flex Rocks and Rollovers? I basically just kind of gave you guys the rundown on how all this came along. So yeah, it's in this video already. I don't want to repeat myself too much. Then Wreck Gear Jess, how soon until you come back to Arizona and wheel with us again? Next week, question mark. Yes, I would love to. Like, that Arizona area is just absolutely amazing. So yeah, I would love to make another trip out there that is not hell and back, where I can be on my own pace and go wheel with those guys again. It's like super cool. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the last Hallenbach or check out the Wreck Gear YouTube channel for more info on that. All right, let's see what else. What else are you guys asking? Hell's Revenge Trail in Moab can be done in a stock vehicle or a buggy with killer views. Yeah, I mean, true. I don't know if that was a question. That's more of a statement. Hell's Revenge can be done in both. You don't have to have anything crazy built to do Hell's Revenge, but it gets you excited even if you're in a buggy. It's a really cool trail. All right, same day with. Okay, Green Acres, Oklahoma. Have you been there? I have not been to Green Acres yet, but in Clayton, Oklahoma, I've heard of it. It's very close to Rugged Mountain Ranch. I've seen photos and whatnot, so there will definitely, I'm sure we'll stop by there at some point. It's on our list of trails or of parks to check out. Mischief Maker, Holly is in the chat. Hi, Holly. Asking, are you going to be racing sometime soon? I don't know if it's sometime soon, but yes and no. So I will be racing as a passenger this year with my buddy John Grounds with Fly Offroad, the Ultra 4 car that was in Hallenbach. Yes, I will be taking a passenger seat in his car for, I don't know, maybe a race or two this season, and that will be my first experience in that. And I want to race so badly, but I don't have a race vehicle, and I don't think it would be smart for us as a channel to build a race car, because there's not much content that you can get while you're racing, and it would take all time and all of the funds of the channel to make that happen, and I don't think that's what my priority should be on. So let me start this whole journey with being a passenger, And maybe, who knows, I'm totally down. I would love to be able to really race and compete in something like King of the Hammers or something. Absolutely. um Tell me about what's your biggest bucket list in off-road. Okay, that's a good one. That kind of ties in with the racing. So, biggest bucket list item for me in the off-road community worldwide, I guess, is something called the Rainforest Challenge. Google that, put it into YouTube if you've never heard of it. Rainforest Challenge is a 2-week long race through the rainforest of Malaysia during the monsoon season. So that kind of tells you everything you need to know. It's completely crazy. It's 2 weeks long. I don't know how many stages they have throughout the whole country, through the deep, deep, deep rainforest of Malaysia during downpour rain. I mean, it's a mud fest. They drive through rivers, they drive through mud that comes to their windshield. It is a crazy adventure and just looks to me like a blast. So Rainforest Challenge is the very, very peak of my bucket list when it comes to off-road events, and it's also racing. So that would be something I would love to make possible at sometime soon, ideally with you guys on this channel by building a car for it. In a perfect world, I would find a team somewhere on this planet that competes at Rainforest Challenge and has experience in it, that I can co-dog with and experience the race and understand what this is, because right now my whole knowledge is based off YouTube videos. So in a perfect world, I will do that. And then experience this one time and understand the event, and then come back, build a car for it, ship it over there, and compete with it with our own rig that we build on the channel, which wouldn't be anything crazy. You'll be surprised. The rigs that compete in that event aren't anything crazy. It's usually short wheelbase, about 37-inch mud terrain tires, diesel engines, or like nothing, really nothing crazy. Like those rigs are small, nimble, and have parts in them that are widely available, easy, like really common man stuff. Like for us around here, probably most of the rigs that compete in that, you wouldn't believe that they would tackle a terrain like that. So I think this would be a really cool project for the channel. If I can make that happen at some point in our YouTube career here, it'll happen for sure. So Rainforest Challenge, top bucket list item. Do you have any plans on taking Jeepster McJeep back to Germany? And would you ever get 5 rigs and do a Europe tour? Harley Mischief Maker is asking again. That is actually a cool idea. So I don't think I would take Jeepster McJeep to Germany, simply because it is not like, it is so far away from being street legal. And the trails out there are, at least in Germany, around Germany, yes and no, but in Germany, the trails that we have aren't as crazy the way you would need a vehicle like that in that sense. And I don't think it would be worth it, to be honest. Like, we have our Flexworks and Rollovers crew member Michael in Munich. Actually, he has a really, really badass buggy on 43s with a rear engine LS, completely built for European trophies and races. So if I would ever want to compete in any of the European challenges, I would just hook up with Michael and go race it with him. But if you want to, by the way, also, we have a video on our channel where Michael shows you his European race car, his German race car. Super, super cool. It's the Bad Hornet. So go check that out in our video library. Super cool video, super unique rig, completely different from what you've seen here in the United States. Super, super cool. It's German with English subtitles. So, but it's easy to make it through. So check it out. It's really cool. So with him, I would maybe do that. But regarding driving to Germany, I had this crazy idea last year already. And I don't know, Jeep, if you can hear me, check us out. I had the idea about, getting with somebody like Jeep, getting a Gladiator and driving a Gladiator, making it into some sort of overland expedition vehicle, and driving a Gladiator from Atlanta, Georgia, to my old home address in Cologne, Germany. I think that would be a crazy tour. It would go all across the United States, up into Alaska, all the way to the end of Alaska. Then we would go on a ferry, take the ferry over to Russia, drive all across Russia, and then at some point, all across Europe, etc., into Germany. Right now, probably not the best idea with what's going on, so this will have to wait, or we'll have to take a different route. But that was my idea before all this craziness with Ukraine happened. So Yeah, that was an idea that I had in the past about doing a road trip from my address in Atlanta to my old address in Germany, and then go back the other way around or something. Leave the vehicle in Germany, and maybe come back the next year and finish driving it back. So that is an idea that I have and something I would love to do. Um, but yeah, with everything going on in the world right now, probably not the right time to do so. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Let me go back into your YouTube questions. Somebody asking, just started working for Ford. Official No Limit crew asked this. I've just started working for Ford and I want to build a rock crawler. Where can I find one and what do you recommend? I can weld and fix shit. What do you recommend? Honestly, I always say that for people, the best way to get into it, in my opinion, I'm sure a lot of you have a different opinion on this, but in my opinion, the best way to get into the sport on a serious note is to buy something used and fix it and make it your own. Versus, I think to get it taking a stock whatever vehicle and slowly modding it, breaking it, modding it, breaking it, can discourage you very quickly because you will break and you will drive hours to an off-road park, break, not having and then can't get home, or it's, I don't know. In my opinion, you will have the most fun on a budget if you buy a rig for 15 grand, something like that, something that has a solid drivetrain already, and then just go from there. Fix it up, change what you don't like, and take it from there. I think it is the best way to get into it if you don't already have a vehicle. But instead of pouring all that money into building something and learning it the hard way, I think buying something used that gives you a good platform when it comes to parts, already got axles, already got a lot of this expensive stuff in it, and then just go from there and redo what you don't like and then go take it off road. I think you will have a better time but when you think about the budget, like the budget to fun relation, I think is on that just right compared to pouring all that money into something that you buy stock and then breaking it until you have it where you need it. So just my opinion. Okay, let's say when you do a mod in Germany for off-road, you have to update your VIN with those upgrades. Learned this from Lightbright Pat Kylio. Yes, you do. It's crazy. So the German DOT department is called the TUV TÜV, and it's nothing you want to mess with. Basically every upgrade you do that isn't pre-certified from the TUV department, which most of the off-road stuff isn't, you have to buy the part, and you can only buy selected parts that have a ABE number, a certain certified number. Then you install it, then you have to bring it to a TUV center. They have to inspect it, the installation, the part itself. You have to spend a bunch of money on the inspection, basically, and then it's still not guaranteed that you go through with it. It is a huge nightmare, and yeah, modifying off-road vehicles in Germany just really isn't fun if you still want them street legal. It's a nightmare, it's expensive, and it's just not a great idea. All right, let's switch over to Instagram. Do you ever wheel with full-size rigs? Man, I wheel with anyone. I really don't care what you're in. I wheel with anybody that joins our group and can keep up. When did you first go full-time with Flexworks and Rollovers, and what did you do before that? We also covered that a little while ago, so just go back in the video and watch that. But yeah, it was about I don't know, 8 months before COVID hit, 9 months before COVID hit, something like that. When are you coming to New Mexico with that crazy road show? Chile Challenges event is in October. I'm sure New Mexico is on our list for a couple of reasons, so it'll happen for sure. Offroad and Chill is asking, would you ever upgrade to a newer Jeep, JK or JL, and why not? Man, of course I would. I don't have anything against new Jeeps, but I don't know. I just like old American iron. I just have a thing for old Jeeps. I think they're cool. I think they have character. Uh, you have a lot less electricity stuff that you have to deal with. Yeah, I have nothing against them. Absolutely not. But it's just not my forte. And honestly, especially now building the new rig, and even with Jeepster make Jeep phase, having a historic vehicle makes getting it street legal a lot easier because there's no inspection. Once it's a historic vehicle, you basically just send them your VIN number and you get a title and a tag for it. That alone makes it a lot easier. Next one. Germany versus the US for wheeling. Oh, US all day. Germany wheeling is not that great, or yeah, it's not comparable to here. I don't want to say it's not great. It definitely has its perks and it definitely has some cool stuff, but nothing compared to here. Um, what are your plans for the future for flex rocks and rollovers? Man, that is a whole nother video. That is a lot. I will give that another live video. I want to do more of these here. So that is something we'll talk about another time. Peck Brothers, another YouTube channel I just found out about recently. Those guys are pretty cool. They like definitely somebody you should keep an eye out for and subscribe. Peck Brothers on YouTube and on Instagram. They do some cool stuff. Peck Brothers are asking, is Marvin your real name? Yes, it is. Believe it or not, in Germany, it's a super common name. I had like 2 other Marvins in my class at some point. Like, it's a very common name in Germany. I don't know why. I think over here it's kind of old school and weird. I can't change. I don't even have a middle name. Marvin Stammel is my full name. There's no middle name, no nothing. So there's that. Yes, it is my real name. That's funny. Next one. Somebody asking, Fußpilz, woher kommst du? That's German for where you're from. I am from Cologne, Germany. Actually, from a small town called Pulheim, which is about, I don't know, 10 miles away from Cologne. So yeah, Cologne, Germany is where I'm from. Do you and your dad have any plans for another Unlimited Off-Road Expo in the future? That is asked by Follow Dad, Justin. Who knows? I don't know. Honestly, like, right now, absolutely not. But you never know what the future will bring. Like, it is definitely, I don't know. You never know. Not right now, no. Right now, there's absolutely no plans of reliving that ever again. Some Electra the Jeep. How long did it take you to transform your Jeepster, and why did you choose a Jeepster? It took 5 long, painful years because I had it took me 3 shops until we even got started. The first shop closed down and decided to build motorcycles one day. The second shop it went to had really bad personal family related issues in that time frame and just couldn't get to it, and was glad when the day after 1 year of sitting in his shop and it wasn't touched, he was, I think, as happy as I was that it got picked up and brought to somebody else. So I wasted a lot of time along the way with shops that didn't do anything. But yeah, 5 long years. And a Jeepster, because I think they're cool, they're unique, something not everybody has. Very, very roomy in the inside, almost the wheelbase and the space inside of an LJ. It has a lot of benefits, and they're cheap. They're dirt cheap compared to any other vehicle that you can, any other Jeep vehicle. So that's why. Next one is why 20-inch wheels from Dylan Kopp. 20-inch wheels because BF Goodrich 42-inch red labels only come for it for a 20-inch wheel, and it has its reasons. You have a lot less side when you run low air pressure, which you should in those tires. The flex in your sidewall is basically a lot is not good for traction and for performance. So like you have to have the right amount of sidewall, not too much and not too little of sidewall flex basically. And if you run a 15 or a 17-inch wheel on a 42-inch tire and run low air pressure, that sidewall flex will kick you off your line. It will get you in trouble. It's not ideal for that. So the people at BF Goodrich, at Michelin, those are engineers that know their stuff about tire technology. And I mean, I'm sure we can do something about this and like talk about it in detail, but yeah, there's science reasons for it. And yeah, it's basically because of the sidewall flex in the tire why you have to run a 20-inch wheel on the 42. Next one. Flawed off-road. This ties in with your other questions about what type of events. Have you ever considered doing a fan version of a 24 Hallenback where you maybe have contestants or something and pick like 10 fans to do a Hallenback? Maybe not rear steer, but still hard. Yeah, I would totally do that. Maybe do like a fun run 24 Hallenback and invite a bunch of people and just, absolutely cool idea. Actually, I could totally see that happening at some point. Um, what did you do before? We covered that. Andrew Bailey, who's your favorite spotter? You know it. You know it's you, honey. Always Andrew. Mischief Maker again. If you could wheel on another continent, where would that be and why? Well, we already talked about Rainforest Challenge, so let me say if it's another continent, let's say Asia, and because there's Rainforest Challenge, that's why. um, Good. Let's see how much more there is. Why? How from Geo John Hutch? How come so many Jeeps built with GM engines? I feel like the Chrysler Magnum V8s are better at building low RPM torque. Are there fewer bolt-on options? Blah 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 blah. Well, honestly, GM engines just simply because there are spare parts available everywhere. For an LS, for example, like you get spare parts on every corner. Everybody knows those motors. They're reliable. They're good power to cost ratio. So honestly, that's why. Like parts and power to cost ratio is great, and they're not super bulky. They're pretty compact. Yeah, has that. Those are, I would say, the most common reasons. Um, okay, I hear V8 Scumbag says, I'll play. Ultimate Adventure seems like a great annual event. Have you thought of going for that type of gig or even organized an event similar on your platform? Good question. Something I've been thinking about recently about doing something like an Ultimate Adventure with my buddy Max Dollinger. So Max and I, this is my very, very first gig as a videographer, me filming, taking a camera from photo mode into film mode for the first time in my life, was in 2014. Going on a trip with my friend Max Dollinger, a trip called the Week of Wheeling. Week of Wheeling is like an East Coast version of Ultimate Adventure, but with regular people, no industry, just regular good old boys getting together, going on a off-road and camping trip for a week straight. Week of Wheeling is 7 days of wheeling and camping every other night. So and no trailers allowed. You have to be self-sufficient out of your Jeep. I did that trip twice, I want to say 2 or 3 times. I think I did it twice as a media and then the third time I did it in my own Jeepster. Those videos are also on YouTube. Type in Week of Wheeling and you see it. It's really cool. And we were thinking about bringing that back. My only issue with that is, and with any kind of ultimate adventure style event, is from a content perspective. You may have heard people at the Ultimate Adventure talk about that when they say wheel for the week, meaning you have a week long of wheeling, 7 days of wheeling. So nobody wants to break their stuff in the first few days, meaning, for out of 7 days, you really only have about 2 days of exciting wheeling. Everything else is easy trails and overlanding. And I don't know how exciting it would be for YouTube to have a 7-part series where the first 4 parts are really slow wheeling and no crazy action because nobody wants to break. And that's my only issue with it. Like, I like the idea, I really do. And as a participant, I would love it. But thinking about content, I don't know if it's a cool idea to have like a 7-day event that is super exhausting, time consuming, and expensive as hell to have 7 days worth of media crew out there. And then only having, the last 2 days really be exciting because everything before that, everybody babies their stuff because nobody wants to break. So you tell me, give me some feedback on this. Like, what do you think about it? Should we do something like an Ultimate Adventure? But how do you get around that problem that nobody wants to break in the first couple of days? So that's my only concern about it. Is like, man, like, how do you make it exciting for the first 4 days where nobody wants to break? I don't know. Okay, let me see. You guys love to see your improvement over the years from Germany. Hell yeah. Erica Merkel, thank you. You're gonna sell some of the jackets that you had on in KOH. Maybe. Honestly, they were a one-off piece. They're True Work jackets. True Work is a really cool a work gear outfitter that has supported us for that. And I just took the jacket and got it embroidered. But maybe we'll make them. If you guys are interested in jackets, really solid workwear jackets with embroidered Flex Rocks and Rollovers logos, let me know and I'll get to that for sure. Somebody's saying fan 24 Hellenbach would be sick. Yeah, I like that idea. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do a fan version of a Hellenbach, and then like maybe not with the full media crew that we have at a regular Hellenbach, because honestly, like that will just slow down the process and whatnot. I think with just a skinnier version of the media crew, it'll be fun. Um, Ultimate Adventure is so sick. Vance 407 says that maybe you could do your own. Could maybe you start a giveaway and swag gets you entered. Yeah, again, I like the idea as well. I like the idea. Like something like the Ultimate Adventure as a participant is super sick, but I just don't know how exciting it'll be on camera if you have the issue that I just mentioned. All right, let's see what we have. I'm switching over to Facebook now, or actually, I have some on my phone too. I don't want to forget those. Man, we're already over an hour. You guys still there? You guys still enjoying this? Give me some feedback. Again, stay with me. At the end of this video, I will post a coupon code for a free T-shirt into the chat box here on the side, and the first one to redeem it gets it. So stay tuned for that if you want a free shirt. All right, then on Instagram story, people were asking favorite place to wheel. We covered that. When the heck are y'all coming to Oregon? Also on the list. Pacific Northwest, definitely on the list. Then Black Jeepsy 12 asking any future project. We covered that. The Wadring, any plans to visit Dubai? I would love to, man. I would love to go rip in the sand dunes of Dubai. Hell yeah, that'd be awesome. JK Yodacon, will Andrew Bailey ever wheel again? Absolutely. His rig is getting rebuilt right now. It'll be all fresh and actually built for him to fit in it very, very soon already. Texas Complete Truck Center, my buddy Keith is currently has Andrew's rig and is completely cutting it apart and making it where Andrew can comfortably sit in it and fit in it, and is redoing the roof after his rollover at Hallenbach and improving a bunch of other things. So stay tuned about Andrew Bailey's buggy comeback, and then obviously he's going to wheel it again. What form of off-roading is your favorite to watch and film? Maddie J92 is asking that on Instagram. Honestly, my favorite form of off-roading to watch personally is something that's never been on the channel, and that's rock bouncing. Straight up. Like for me, a day at Grey Rock, Alabama on Cable Hill with a cold beer in my hand, right on the side of the race hill, nothing beats that. Absolutely nothing. No other sport or motorsport in the industry can give me as much excitement from a spectator's perspective as a rock bouncer race on Cable Hill or similar. So for me, rock bouncing for sure. And something also we're gonna cover at some point on the channel. Something I followed for over 3 years. I went to every single race of the season. Something I was really, really, really involved in for a long time. It'll definitely make a comeback on the channel at some point where we show you guys that world a little bit more in detail. But yeah, if I had to choose one, I would say rock bouncing for sure, or rock racing, whatever you want to call it. Hill killing. All right, next one on it's RCV Performance is asking, what's your single favorite wheeling location? We just talked about it. I would say sand mines. If it's my single favorite, let's say sand mines. Another one asking about an ultimate adventure kind of event. We talked about that. Rocky TV official says, how did you get the idea to create FlexRocks and Rollovers? By far one of the best off-road channels. Basically, honestly, it's my understanding of off-road, the way I picture off-road, brought into, or packaged into a social media and YouTube format. That's honestly all it is at the end of the day. How did you come about the name FlexRocks and Rollovers? It's basically the off-road translation to sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I don't know if that's obvious or not, but like that's how that came apart. It's sex, drugs, and rock and roll translated into wheeling. Okay. Okay. All right, then we have here somebody asking me on a personal note. Snake Trap JK is asking, I got the best question to ask on Sunday. When do you first start Flex Rocks and Rollovers? Where did you see yourself ending up? Is this where you are now, or did you shoot over your expectation and your dream now already? It definitely went past my expectations already, but now the plans are big. Again, that's too much to talk about right now. We'll make a separate video at some point about what we envision Flex Rocks and Rollovers to be at some point. And then he said, my other question would be, if you had to choose any rig that you wheeled with that wasn't yours, whose rig would you pick and why? Oof, that's a tough one. I don't know. Honestly, it really depends on what it is. If I would live in Arizona, I would want something like Bronson from Rec Gear, like a 50-degree steering, rear steer buggy all day long, all day long. Then I also really adore Keith Dunford's Bronco, the Ford Bronco that you saw in the last Hallenbeck and in Rain of Rocks. That thing is also amazing. I absolutely love that rig. So it really depends. Like day in and day out, it's different. I think the next favorite rig will be our next one. So definitely stay tuned for updates on that one. Cool. Honestly, I would say that's enough of the questions. This has been going on for over an hour now. So I appreciate you guys asking all these questions. Like, we haven't even gotten through all of them. There was a lot. And I hope this was entertaining to you guys. And I hope you learned a little bit of a couple of new things and things you didn't know about before. Let me look over my itinerary here, if there's anything else. Favorite trails, questions, my story, new build, Jeep storage. We also covered at the very beginning. I had some questions to you guys about storage in my Jeep. So go back. If you missed the beginning of the video, wait until it's published and go back to watch that. Maybe you guys can give me some input about storage in my Jeepster. Subscriptions, man, this is a big one for me. Like, if you guys want to support our channel for free, really, like, the smallest percentage of people that watch our videos are actually subscribed to our channel. I mean, a tiny little percentage is subscribed. So really, the one way to keep us going, to keep us motivated, to keep us in business, and to keep us doing what we're doing, the number one thing you guys can do that doesn't cost you anything is to hit that subscribe button, and to, whenever we release a video, hit like, leave a comment, all that stuff. You hear every YouTuber talk about it all the time, but it really is the most essential thing and the best and easiest way for you as a viewer to support us. So yeah, please do. Whenever we get off here, just hit that subscribe button. Like, if you don't have a Google account or YouTube account, make one really quick. It takes 2 minutes, not even, and it's a huge help for us. So yeah, please subscribe to our channel. It really truly helps. It's a huge thing for us, and just a little bit tiny effort for you guys. So yeah, I think that was it for today. We're going to do more of these, I promise. I said that last time already, didn't really do it. And I want to do these maybe probably monthly now. Like, we have so much to talk about. I haven't even covered all of your questions. We'll answer those in the next one. I have them all written down, so those will be answered in the next one. If you have questions today that weren't answered, or something that came up during me talking, write them in the comments of the video once the video is posted, and I will answer those in the next Q&A. We will also be giving away another t-shirt or a swag pack or something in the next Q&A. But for this one right now, I'm going to go into the chat box here right now, type in the coupon code, and then you guys can go on flexrocksrollovers.com, click on apparel, and then go to on the apparel section, and you can select any of the t-shirts in our store, and this will give you one free shirt, and only one person gets it. So as soon as I hit enter on here, you go on the website, put in your card, type in the coupon code into the promo code field at the checkout, and if you're lucky and you're the first one to do so, you get a free shirt, including free shipping. I'll maybe throw a sticker on top. Any shirt too. Flexworks and Rollover shirt, Hallenbeck shirt, Rain and Rock shirt, whatever. So I have it typed out. I'm just going to hit enter here in just a second. I just want to say thank you guys. Thanks for your support. Thank you for making all this happen. And thanks for all your questions. And I see you guys in the next Q&A, or in the next video. We're going to have a bunch of more content come out here shortly. And another Rain of Rock shootout is coming next. So for all you guys that enjoy that season or that project, another Reign of Rock shootout episode is coming out Friday or Saturday. I'll let you guys know. All right, guys, that was it for today. Awesome live stream. Thank you, guys, and I see you next time. Here's your coupon code. Go get it, free shirt. Boom. See ya.